Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Rise Up Learning session with the Rise Up PH group. I would like to tell you that this is the first time that we will be airing live from the booth of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, powered by Excelink Events. So if you're watching this from FB, either in the Tourism Congress of the Philippines or through Rise Up PH Live, please do comment below where you're coming from, what your role is in the industry, or what company you are representing in the industry, so that we know who are watching. And at the same time, if you can, please share this in your own profiles so that your friends from the industry can also participate in our discussion for today. Okay, and hopefully if they find it helpful, they might want to join us in Rise Up PH community as well. So this afternoon, we have a very timely guest, topic and discussion. And I will be your main moderator. I'm Imelda Sai, and I will be joined together by three other moderators of the Rise Up PH group. No, I will call them one by one now. So I'd like to call on Miss Clarissa Nalam, Mr.
Hi.
Harold Atondo, and Mr. John Abelgas. Okay, so all of four of us will be guiding the discussion that will be happening this afternoon. I said it's going to be very timely because di ba, in the past few days, medyo nabigla tayo sa mga directions and directives from the IATF, and supported by the Department of Tourism. And somehow we got a glimpse, of how they will be moving forward towards the slow reopening of the tourism industry in the country. So yon. So somehow nagkaroon tayo ng mga tanong na paano ba nila ginagawa itong mga directives na to? How do they set this direction? And the more important question is, being the one of those who will be affected by it directly, do we actually have a say or a part to play in all these happenings, diba? Actually, these questions made this person we will be interviewing today at the center of the action, at the center of it all, no? Because he heads the organization or the body that is mandated to liaise us, between the private stakeholders of the tourism industry and the Department of Tourism. So with no further ado, and with all my co-moderator from Rise Up, we'd like to welcome our president for the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, Mr. Jojo Clemente. Hi, Sir Jojo.
Good afternoon to everyone, to all our viewers. Hopefully, we can have a good discussion this afternoon. And looking forward to your questions.
Okay, thank you, Sir Jojo. Sir Jojo, umpisahan ko na. Gusto ko muna malaman, kamusta kayo ngayon? How are you these days?
Very tired. My eye bags will probably show how I am. Well, like every one of you, I'm also a stakeholder, and we're also going through the same things that we're going through. Walang exemption naman to eh. So kung tayo hirap ngayon na naghahanap ng kung paano tayo mabubuhay ng day to day, then that's what you're doing also. How do we support our staff? How do we continue to keep in touch with our clients? We're all pretty much experiencing the same thing.
Okay, thank you. Actually, totoo yun, no? So, how about naman po as your role as the president of the TCP? How is it right now, especially with all these things that I mentioned also earlier?
Well, truth be told, it's a very challenging time for us. Things happen every day, new developments with regard to the virus, to the industry, global situation. So it's very challenging. You have to keep up with what's going on, ano yung trends, how are other countries adapting to what's going on, what are their plans. At the same time, we're also reviewing pieces of legislation which are up for hearing once Congress is running again. constant meetings with different organizations, different associations, with DOT, with Congress. So it's been a busy time, but like most of us, sana yung busy natin, ano, no, yung kumikita tayo. Pero dito talaga, what I've been doing is more for industry matters. So, but I'm not complaining. It's part of the job.
Okay. Nabanggit niyo yung all your activities no with TCP. Sir, actually ako personally, I'd like to and I'm sure a lot of our MSMEs who have been kumbaga ba ngayon pa lang talaga masyadong naririnig about the TCP. Can you give us a background lang? What is the function of TCP in the overall ecosystem of the Philippine travel industry?
Okay. The Tourism Congress of the Philippines was created as part of RA 9593, which is the tourism law or the
Mhm.
Tourism Act. The primary function of the TCP is to be the consultative body, no, representing the private sector, consultative body to to the national government in the creation of national tourism policy for anything that is tourism related. By law, the TCP is supposed to provide that function for the private sector to the government.
Mhm. Okay. And how do you so you represent us basically, no, to the government.
Well, the
Kayo naman po
TCP
yung
does, not me
ka,
personally, but
sorry, TCP
yeah,
as a body
mm,
represents the private practitioners to the DOT. So,
yes.
halimbawa po, so because you're representing us, how about the process naman po of you getting the pulse of the industry ganyan? How do you go about that?
Okay. The composition of the board is one thing that helps us to do this, no? Kasi the board is composed of different sectors from the different regions. So doon pa lang, you already have transportation, tour operations, accommodations, other tourism related establishments, attractions, yung ganon. So it basically covers the whole it covers the spectrum of the tourism industry. And by virtue of it being regional, so it is assumed that it covers the concerns of the entire country. And then aside from that, of course, we have very good relationships also with the other associations like PhilToa, PTAA, Philippine Hotel Owners, HSMA, and then in the region, Sakatos, Eastern Visayas, Bofeto, sa Bohol. We'd like to think that we have been very inclusive in as far as consulting with our fellow associations. I just want to be clear, no, and this is something that I have been saying. The TCP does not set itself up as above any association. It just so happens that we are fulfilling a mandate uh, which is given to us by law. So ako, as far as I'm concerned, the TCP is on the same level with the other associations. Just so happened that the law says that we are the consultative body of the national government.
Mhm. Is there a certain consultation protocols that are followed by these members or yung mga bodies na regional, sir?
Well, usually how I do it is I do it on a more personal basis on my style. Yun yung style ko is that I get in touch with the various heads of the associations, whether through whether through Viber, through Messenger, and post questions to all of them. And then, syempre, I assume that they also talk to their constituents about it before they give me an answer. No?
To you.
Or I will assume that they also speak for their association, so that whatever they say, I assume is the sentiment of the stakeholders that are members of their associations.
That's right. Okay. Because we are already talking about protocols, etc. I'd like to and your representation of our industry to the government. I'd like to call on Ma'am Clarissa because I think she has a question about some bills.
Okay, first, hi Sir Jojo. Good
Hi, Claire.
afternoon.
How are you?
First, let's ano, we acknowledge that this pandemic has brought us into a crisis, right? Because
Yes.
the impact on all facets of our operations has been really, it's been very disruptive up to the point na no operation. It also, it's so uncertain hanggang kailan ito, uncertain duration. And also it's beyond our control. So that makes it a crisis. According to UN Secretary General on its socio-economic impact, the recovery from the COVID-19 crisis must lead to a different economy. Now, my question is, having grown up in this industry, sir, and being one of the stakeholders, do you think, siyempre may tourism, in that different economy, may tourism pa, pero may travel agencies pa kaya?
Sorry, what was the last part? My kung merong.
Of course, there will be still tourism industry in that different
Yes,
economy.
yes,
But will
yes.
there be travel agents?
Oh yeah, definitely. Hindi naman mawawala ang travel agents. And even before, when the online travel agents started coming in, I was always under the impression that the online serves their own purpose. The travel agents will serve its own purpose. And with all due respect to the online industry, no, during this pandemic, I think it was shown that people started to rely more on travel agents kasi they wanted to have the human contact na to be reassured that someone is taking care of them while they are trying to get home or trying to rebook, trying to refund and everything. So, and not for anything else, I think those who booked online are probably, from what I've heard, have had more problems dealing with those kinds of things as opposed to those who dealt with travel agents or tour operators when they were trying to adjust all of their arrangements. So definitely there are people still want the convenience of having to talk to someone, to consult someone. And this is something that I've held for a long time. So yes, to answer the question, there is a future for travel agents and tour operators. Hindi mawawala ang human contact.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so what we just have to do now is to survive between now and that uncertain duration kung kailan man matapos to. And as stakeholders, ang panghahawakan lang natin is how the government will help us to pull this through, right? And we've heard of
Yeah.
TRRP, Tourism Response and Recovery Program. We want to know, ano ba to? Is this a working document? Hindi pa siya tapos? It's being done, it's being written as it is done. What's the TRRP, and what is TSP's role on drafting the TRRP?
Okay. The TRRP, no, Tourism Response and Recovery Program, basically dyan the contained therein is the plan for of the DOT with some consultation, of course, with us as to how we will recover from this. And as we know, kasi things are always evolving. So we have to change from time to time, no? But ang target namin ngayon is maybe within the next 2 weeks, we will be able to come out with some sort of a final draft of the TRRP. And in the TRRP are enclosed various steps and various ways of how we will address the concerns of the industry, no? Katulad ng mga how will marketing be done. There will be some provisions also as far as the financial assistance is concerned. But I know the financial aspect is the one that is of most interest to everyone, no?
Yeah.
And those are into the legislations that are pending right now. Number one is the Bayanihan 2, and the other one is the Arise Bill.
Yes.
And and tho- and those two and those two pieces of legislation were not passed before the two houses of Congress went into recess, no? And the last that we've heard about it is that a special session will be called before SONA to tackle at least the Bayanihan 2. The Bayanihan 2 contains about 10 billion pesos worth of assistance for the industry. And then if the Arise Bill, or also known before as the Philippine Economic Stimulus Act, if that will be taken up, there is another 58 billion specifically earmarked for tourism. Aside from that, there are certain general provisions in those bills which can be applied for financial assistance that can be applied for by MSMEs. Since we were talking about MSMEs, TCP, during our time to give recommendations, we were very particular and specific in mentioning that the MSMEs comprise the biggest part of the industry. So it is very important that a lot of the assistance or a lot of the financial aid that will be given will be targeted to MSMEs.
Okay. Miss Clarissa, you
Yeah.
have further questions?
Yes. So that means magkaiba si Bayanihan 2 at si Arise.
Magkaiba yan.
Okay.
Those are two different legislation.
And so the TRRP implementation would really depend on the approval of both bills.
Yes. Let me also be clear, no, kasi there are also questions. Sabi, why doesn't DOT extend assistance to the industry, di ba? Bakit hindi magbigay ng financial assistance direct from DOT? Number one, it is not in the mandate of DOT to do that. No, any other agency does not have. Even DTI does not give out dole outs directly. It has to go through government financial institutions. Mostly, if financial assistance is to be given, that is a DOF and its attached agencies. Number two, because of the Bayanihan one, the first one, it gave the government, it gave the national government the authority to get extra money from the departments na for projects that have not for money that has not been used for projects. So that is what happened to the OT. A substantial chunk of its budget was also taken by the national government to help in the to be used as additional funds for to address the COVID-19 pandemic. So sa totoo lang, DOT is also running low na din siya. It's not as cash rich or money rich as some people may think.
Okay, more on the TRRP, sir. So yung magiging IRR niya, because we've
Mhm.
read some proposals on what will be placed in the IRR. So anong role ni TCP on that? May
We will
input ba
be
siya?
Yes, yes, definitely. We will be part of the group that will be drafting the IRR for that. So um, uh, we are very we want to hear the opinions of the stakeholders as far as what what recommendations do you have para mailagay natin lahat ng gusto natin sa IRR.
How do people reach the TCP for, say, for example, if there are groups that would like to give their suggestions on how
Yeah,
those would be, yeah, distributed, or on what
yeah,
projects
yeah,
would have the better impact, ganyan, how do
yeah.
we do that?
Okay, what we're primarily doing right now, as far as the concerns are, as far as the suggestions are concerned, no, we're using social media a lot lately because we nakita namin mas effective talaga. So you can post on the TCP Facebook page, or you can send us. There's a function there for private messages, so you
Mhm.
can feel free to or you can also try find my page. You can also get in touch with me, and then uh, any of us the board members are also open to anything, especially depends on what sector you represent. So we'll based on this, we'll come out with a list of the board members, no, just in case people don't know. We'll put it on the Facebook page so that people in the certain sectors can approach whoever is relevant to their concern or to their sector in the
So it
regions.
doesn't have to be a formal paper or something that we
Puwede
submit
naman
to
din.
you.
Puwede rin naman. They can submit it to me. Walang problema.
Okay.
Any form. Basta ang important, what's important for us is to get the suggestions so that we can consider all recommendations that people have. I mean, we do not take the stand that we know everything. So, in fact, we encourage people to talk because there may be some things that we do not see and that some other peoples may notice. Even contrary opinions are very much welcome. Kasi, in fact, I look more for the contrary opinions kasi doon natin makikita eh. Baka hindi ko naisip or hindi namin naisip yung
Tama.
isang bagay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah,
Mabalanse.
yeah.
Yeah. Carissa, you still have one more, right?
So parang it's assumed that it's an evolving document and we have to wait until it develops and implemented. Meantime, we have to survive. So along the way, there are quite a number of issues that I think has to be maraming nagtatanong, maraming nagagalit. So I think I'll turn you over to Harold and Jan. Do you have
Okay, sure.
Sir Jojo,
Hi, Harold.
good afternoon po.
Good
Sir, meron lang
afternoon.
kaming meron lang kaming question dito na nakalap coming from our audience. I think this is Mr. Tony Esteban of Nitas. Ang
Yes.
sabi po niya, what TCP can do to help the 280 plus travel agencies whose accreditation has been canceled by the DFA.
Naku,
How can TCP be able to help regain DFA accreditation?
yung sa DFA, I'll be honest with you kasi um, the DFA matters are usually taken care of by the PTA. I hate to throw it to another association, but I was
Mm-hmm.
also the president of PTA, and in those kinds of situations are always handled by PTA. Kasi travel agents, by strict definition, are actually not covered by the DOT. Um, um, not unless you accredit na may inbound, but if you look at it, outbound agents are not required to to be DOT accredited. But uh, send I would like to talk to Tony, and then maybe we can line and see what we can do for those travel agents, and maybe also get the other outbound associations into the discussion para holistic yung approach natin dyan. But definitely we will do our best to help however much we can.
Okay po. Sir, talking about accreditation, no? Kasi lately during the pandemic nagkaroon ng interim programs ang DOT to help the stakeholders and travel agents na makapag-secure ng DOT accreditation nila with a lesser not
Requirement.
stricter requirements, 'di ba? Tulad before. Gusto ko lang nang
Yes.
malaman, no, as a stakeholder din in a travel agency operation, how important is the accreditation sa pagbubukas ng market ulit? Meron ba tayong ruling na no accreditation, no operation?
Well, yes. Kasi ngayon naging requirement na ng DILG yan, no? Before getting your business permits, that if you are a tour operator travel agency, you need to have DOT accreditation to be given a business permit. So I think Secretary
First step.
Anyo, yes, I think Secretary
Mm.
Anyo issued a memorandum order to that effect. So yes, so you need to be accredited. Now, another reason why accreditation will be important is that in the legislation that we talked about, no, sa Bayanihan and sa Arise, the financial aid that will be available to the industry is meant for accredited tourism establishments. Okay. So that is one reason also why accreditation is needed.
Mhm. Okay. Paano, Sir Jojo, yung mga next year pa yung expiry ng accreditation nila? Can
Okay
they
lang.
can they still
Well, it
operate
depends.
right now?
Yes, kung next year pa naman yung
Effective pa
expiry
siya.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
hindi
valid pa.
po ba nila kailangan dumaan sa interim na requirements or application? Walang ganun, no?
No, No, as long as your accreditation is current, kung next year ka pa, then you can continue to operate. I don't see any problem with that.
Okay. Sir, nakita nyo naman ngayon ang Facebook, 'di ba? Ang dami yung mga travel agents, even tour operators are pivoting to different businesses. Ano yung
Yes.
anong stand ninyo sa ganito? Kasi importanteng marinig namin coming from our father kumbaga, 'di ba, in a MSME sector eh.
Okay. Oh, you're referring to yung ginagamit yung office for different
Yes.
purposes ngayon. Is that it?
Um,
Okay.
partly sir kasi it would affect
Okay.
the accreditation, 'di ba? And the primary service ng travel agency.
Okay. Okay. I just had a discussion with ASIC Rica Bueno about that. No? Ang ano niya ngayon is that there were two things that she mentioned there. Number one, um, if your landlord is okay with you, like let me first ask you, what other businesses would you use your office for aside from kung hindi ka operational ngayon as a tour operator, what kind of businesses would you use it for? Just so we know.
Marami kasi sir, yung
Maybe
iba
a hub for buy and sell. Ganyan, no?
Okay. Okay.
ginawa
Yeah.
nilang parang pasalubong center muna ang office nila.
Okay, okay. Okay, going back to my discussion. The discussion went na if your landlord does not see any problem with it, okay, okay lang. Ang sinasabi ni Asik Rika is that it's the LGU that might become a problem kasi since you're registered as a tour company, in the off chance na biglang merong mag-inspect dyan tapos nakita na in your words, na pasalubong center yan, there might be some questions by the LGUs about it. As
Mhm.
far as the UT is concerned, they still have to discuss it kasi they made arrangements naman for work from home. Alam natin yan. Pero in your case, you're talking about a totally different business, no, aside from the tour operator. So that is something that they have to discuss internally pa daw. And I just had that conversation a couple of hours ago with Asik Rika. So that is
So
something
it's
we will have
already
to.
on the table.
It's on the
It's
table.
already being talked about.
Yeah.
Kasi basically what we are more concerned about is of course we just have to yun na nga kailangan namin itawid kasi yung mga sarili
Yeah.
namin. If we have an
Yeah.
office and it's something that we can use for a secondary purpose at this
Yeah.
time, would it
Yes.
be taken against them lalo na po sa accreditation? We just finished the question on accreditation. So yun, basically yun yung
Yeah.
concern. Oo.
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned that. Sabi ko kasi the stakeholders are concerned about how it will, as you mentioned, no, as how it will affect their accreditation status. So sabi niya they will discuss it internally. I will continue to um, discuss it with them to push it so that we can have uh, formal uh, a formal
Decision.
stance or a formal
Yeah.
decision about it. Pero kasi naman, well, speaking as one of you, speaking as a stakeholder, to me it's understandable kasi we have to do what we have to do, no? Even if we were able to negotiate with our landlords, no? Kahit sabihin natin, boss, baka pwede naman deferred payment muna, spread natin, or even at 50% rental muna for the meantime, we still have to find ways how to pay for that rental. So, 'di ba?
Yes.
Short of moving out or leaving or
Closing.
giving up the offices or closing it. Yeah, I mean, let's try to look for solutions. Let's do our best to look for solutions. So,
Sige.
I fully understand where the stakeholders are coming from as far as that is concerned. So, I'm on your side as far as that is concerned.
Yeah. So sir, kung moving forward no, magkaroon ng resolution to, magkaroon ng payagan, kumbaga, 'di ba? Payagan tayo ng DTI, payagan tayo ng DOT to have the secondary purposes.
In DILG.
Papaano o DILG kung papayagan tayo ng ganito no? Papaano kung mawili na yung mga TAs natin or mga tour operators kasi it is the income generating right now. Will this affect the recovery plan of our industry? Mahirap yan
Uh,
i-pull back pabalik.
Okay, that's a good question, Harold. No, ang sa akin dyan is that what I discussed with the DOT is that maybe to do it on a temporary basis in the meantime na ganito yung sitwasyon. Okay,
For interim. Okay.
alam naman natin ngayon this is very it's a temporary situation, and I hope that it's a temporary situation. So um, matatapos din ang pandemya, no? But in the case na let's say mas successful na yung secondary business mo, then personal choice na yan. It's either you get out of the industry and pursue your business that made money, or you can choose to do both. Pero let us stick to what the accreditation rules prescribe. Parang ganun
Apo.
kadali lang yun. That's where we have to be disciplined now. Is that,
Yeah.
okay, so pinayagan, let's say DOT agrees to it for a period of 2 years or 1 year. Okay, let's continue to do that. But once, let's say, things get back to normal, then you have to self-discipline now and say, okay, medyo kumikita na ulit ang tourism, pero kumikita din itong ibang negosyo ko, but I have to maybe find another venue for the other business, or choose which one you will stick with. So, ganun lang yun.
Yeah. Company,
Discipline rin on our
owner's
part.
decision na. Total, lahat naman tayo mga entrepreneur. It can be both, di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi you invested both in your network and then your sweat, kumbaga, equity na yan. Sir Joe,
Exactly.
meron pang follow-up question dito. Sabi ng isang audience is, narinig daw nila before, nag-talk ang DOT na pwede daw talagang maggawa ng other business inside the travel agency due to COVID. Ang gusto
Okay.
lang nilang malaman is there any directive or document na naka-support para hindi
No.
sila ma-question ng
No.
LGU?
Meron ba? Wala akong nakikitang ganun na ano. I haven't seen any document yet. Sino? Clarissa, did you say there was?
No. It
Okay.
was from Facebook. It was from Facebook.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen any document. Kasi kung meron man ganon, I would be the first one to share it with everyone because I know the concern. TCP would be the first to share it with everyone para maibsan naman ng konti yung nangyayari sa atin ngayon. So as soon as we know, we will tell you. Magmamadali
Okay.
pa akong sabihin sa inyo.
Second to the last dito, sir, na question from the audience, no?
Yeah.
Sabi nila, hindi daw lahat ng LGU ngayon ina-apply ang no accreditation, no business permit.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
on the reopening po ba natin, magiging problem ba to nung mga nagkaroon ng business permit and not yet accredited, or they don't want to be accredited at all?
well, if they don't want to be accredited, then they lose whatever benefits. Di ba? Hindi sila, like I said, no, yung katulad nga yung sa
Right.
legislation, financial assistance, kung wala kang accreditation, then chances are you won't be able to avail of it. Kasi the accreditation actually is meant to be a seal of good housekeeping.
Correct.
It's meant to separate yung nakakamit ng requirements for good operations as opposed to those who are not accredited na for whatever reason. I'm not saying they're not good companies. Ang ano ko lang is that it's still your choice to be accredited. No? It just so happens that the law says that to get business permit as a tourism establishment, be accredited. So, at the end of the day, it's your choice. So if you can live with it, then fine. If not, kung hindi ini-implement ng LGU yung no DOT accreditation, then I would dare say that the LGU is in violation kasi order ng DILG yan eh.
Okay.
So,
Sige po,
diba?
sir.
I mean,
Sir
bahala na
Jojo.
sila magreklamo sa DOT. I don't want to be the chuchu kung sino yung hindi kung sinong LGU siya.
LGU, yeah. Sige. Ako, I am representing the voice of MSME sa online natin, no? Meron dito nagsabi, anong mangyayari sa local MSMEs kung ang unang binuksan ay ang international travel? Paano daw yung mga local ang produkto or inbound ng mga
Okay. I'm very
stakeholders?
Okay, I'm very glad that question was posed. No, we had yesterday we were in a meeting. No, kasama ko si Mr. Cesar Cruz of Philtoa, and we were invited by the DOT to be observers in a meeting with the regional directors. throughout the region. So region 1 to 13 were there.
Apo.
And the common sentiment and the common report of all 13 regional directors is that ang ayaw pa magbukas talaga ng destination sila are the provincial governors and the LGUs. This was a common concern. So, kahit sabihin ng DOT na buksan ninyo na lahat yan, pag ayaw ng gobernador, ayaw ng mayor, hindi magbubukas yan. So even if the DOT says that the inbound sector is now open, saan natin sila dadalhin?
Tama.
Di ba? Where,
So,
where, where, where will we bring them?
We
And
need to
of course,
prioritize the local tours, the local
yes.
destination.
What we're doing now, or what some are doing now, are doing it gradually. Like nakita natin yung sa Boracay, no? Then that was discussed yesterday. So Boracay is slowly opening up. Ngayon, well, they will check by July 15 if they will start accepting na other tourists from outside the region. But other destinations with relatively low infection cases like Bohol, Baguio, sila mismo ayaw nilang magbukas because ayaw nilang mag-spike ulit yung infections nila. And it is the constituents, it is the people of these localities that are saying that they do not want to open. So kung ikaw yung kung ikaw yung LGU, ikaw yung mayor, ikaw yung governor, paano ka puposisyon, di ba? Susundin mo kung ano yung gusto ng tao. Because yun ang ano nila eh, yun ang mandate nila eh, comes from the people. So I understand the frustration. Again, I am one of you. I'm also waiting for these places to open. But it's not in the hands of DOT. It is not in the hands of TCP solely. It has to all work together. Now, what are we doing to address this? The DOT is now looking into creating travel bubbles, and this is a term that we have been hearing the past few weeks: travel bubbles or travel corridors, wherein we can establish corridors between 2 points which have relatively low infection rates, no, or COVID cases. So let's say in this instance, Bohol and let's say Seoul, mababa ang ano nila, no, mababa ang infection rate nila. So what the travel corridor or travel bubble will say is that people from Seoul can travel to Bohol, and people from Bohol can travel to Seoul. Yun lang, point to point lang yon. You cannot go anywhere else. Yun lang. So in that manner, we can restart tourism in a while. But we shall also be implementing yung mga health and safety guidelines, carrying capacity, um, um, what else pa ba? Yun, we will do that. And Boracay has started. The secretary was just in El Nido a few days ago, and I think El Nido is agreeing, or they are open to having a dry run pretty soon to see what the effects of tourism will be once it is restarted. So it will take some time, no? Kasi aminado tayo, our handling of the COVID crisis still needs, leaves a lot to be desired. And we are not exactly in one of the most healthy places to go right now. But again, no, sorry if I'm rambling, but ang magandang balita naman dyan is that we have been also having market updates, no, with Japan, with UK, Western Europe, and all our other international markets. The interest is very high on the Philippines still. Hinihintay lang nilang magbukas tayo. So that is incumbent upon us to control our infections, our cases of COVID here in the Philippines. The sooner na mapababa natin yan, the sooner that we can restart doing inbound tourism. But I just wanted to emphasize the 2 points that I made. Number one, it is not up to the DOT solely to open the destinations, and number two, we have to be disciplined once we start to reopen. I mean, talagang disiplina, no shortcuts, no walang paki-paki, dapat talaga maayos yung patakbo.
Exceptions,
Otherwise,
walang exceptions.
walang exceptions. Otherwise, we will just end up opening and closing as we are seeing in other countries right now.
So,
And
Sir
even in
Jojo,
different
no?
provinces.
Yeah.
Harry,
Oh,
follow up ko lang kasi yung question, Sir Jojo. I
yeah.
actually saw that meeting that you had with the other regional directors yesterday. And
Yeah.
I was actually nung nakita ko to yun, I was wondering, anak, nagpag-uusapan kaya nila? Kasi di ba nga, ang daming mga confusing requirements when you travel dun sa mga provinces and LGUs
Yes.
na parang walang unifying requirements na nakakalito, especially tayo, even if we are not selling the tickets to our customers, dahil alam nila ngayon, dahil we're close, alam nila kami yung kailangan tatanungin. So feeling nila depository kami ng lahat ng information sa lahat ng probinsya, no? So and because the regulations are iba-iba, naisip
Mm.
ko kahapon na nakita ko yung picture na yun, napag-usapan kaya nila na ano mo yun, kung MGCQ, GCQ, ECQ, at least may standard lang per province. Kasi even the airlines are already telling the customers, no, kayo nang bahalang magtanong kung anong dadatnan nyo doon at kung anong hihingin sa inyo. Parang gano'n, no? Parang everyone to themselves na.
Yeah. To a certain extent, that was discussed yesterday kasi we during the Philtoa General Membership meeting a week ago, it was brought up yung there was a question about binuksan nga yung Boracay pero uh, how can you travel between let's say if you're coming from Iloilo, can you go
Yeah.
to Plan yung ganon. So I think they are now harmonizing, no, in your words, or they are now synchronizing the regulations kasi that goes with the that goes with the reopening of tourism. Even if we start with domestic, we have to make it easy for people to reach these places. So yes, to a certain extent, yes, we are well, DOT is now addressing that, and it's something that we're also constantly pushing kasi yun na nga no, mahirap mag-start kung iba-iba yung statuses ng mga LGUs and provinces mo. But then again, you also have a problem because each province, each region, 'di ba, they're in various states of the CQs eh. So
Yes.
kunyari magtatabi si MGCQ at si GCQ at tapos may ECQ ka pa, parang ang hirap kontrolin ng borders mo. So I think that's where some of the disconnect comes in.
Meron pa
Uh,
yan, Sir Jojo, yung, okay, so GCQ to GCQ area, nanggaling yung isa sa MGCQ, papunta sa GCQ area, yung mga, ano pa, yung mga
exactly.
combinations, di ba? So yun,
Exactly.
so actually, yung mga agents, I think they need to be, I mean, all of us would need to be oriented about it if
Yes,
ever
yes.
they come up with
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
harmonized.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is this. We will request the office of USEC Bongkato sa TRCRD to maybe we can ask the regional directors to compile whatever arrangements they have right now, whatever guidelines, and then as soon as we get those, then we will disseminate it also
Thank you.
para lang maliwan. So that's thank you for that question. That's a good one. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I think John has a question on some of the burning issues of the day.
Naku, ito na tayo. Sige. Dali, tubig, tubig.
Sabi ni Sir Jojo, hindi pa tapos si John.
Sabi ko nga, tahimik si Jan eh. Baka may sinisave to eh.
Yes, John,
Yes.
take it away.
Good afternoon, Sir Jojo. Akin yung mga
Yes, Jan.
maiinit na questions actually.
Naku.
Iniwan nila sa akin. uh, Susundutan ko lang muna yung konti yung kay Harold. Yung question niya regarding do sa uh, opening ng mga offices with their businesses. So for
Yeah.
example, ako personally, I'm looking at maglagay ng mga pasalubong do sa office to augment the income
Yeah.
pansamantala
Yeah.
habang nasa pandemic tayo. Pero ang question nga ni Harold, paano pag bumalik na tayo do sa okay, tapos na yung pandemic? Can we still retain that kind of businesses na related pa rin naman sa ano natin, sa industry natin? For example, one idea is yung pasalubong shop. Maybe we can have like products of destinations ng Philippines do sa offices natin. Another business idea that would be helpful sa mga travel agencies is ancillary services like um, logistics, yung mga cargo logistics that we can actually talk naman directly to our partner airlines like AirAsia, Cebu Pacific, Palawas. Sila mismo, even to go, sila mismo may mga logistics na yan. We can coordinate that. Can we ask DOT baka pwede na lang pagbigyan yung ancillary services na yun?
Offhand, I will say yes if it's tourism related ancillary services. We can definitely ask and have them consider it. Wag lang yung masyadong malayo talaga sa tourism business, no. Uh, Baka maging kitchenette ka na dyan or
Agree.
medyo iba na yon or agree.
Yes.
Isa.
Mahirap
I
naman mag-amoy
no,
ano yung ano
my
natin.
no, my suggestion is that
Mag-amoy-ari.
yeah, my suggestion is that you come up with a list of these ancillary services that you want to propose that we can include as part of the services of a tour operator or travel agency. And then let's dialogue with the DOT. Maybe they can amend their accreditation requirements. I mean, hindi naman natin malalaman kung hindi natin susubukan no. But if it's still tourism related or travel related, then it's something that we can push for, di ba?
In relation to that, babasahin ko na rin yung isang comment ni Ivan Mandi sa
Hmm.
ating group
Ivan,
page.
yes.
He said, "Hi, something for TCP to bring up with DOT. Please look at the current provision for accreditation. For example, the requirement to have a specific size of an office in this pandemic times and digital age. Perhaps this needs to be broadened and loosened up." Galing kay Ivan Mandia.
Okay. Hi, Ivan. Hope you're doing well. The Ngayon, no, during this time, the DOT has allowed us to work from home. So you can still be accredited while working from home. Now, if we're talking of later on, no, when the situation normalizes, uh, and you're talking of a small, there is a reason why offices are prescribed to be a certain area, di ba? Kasi nga it sort of shows that you are a legit tourism establishment. Kasi believe me, I have seen during my time as PTA, no, I have seen offices wherein they also sell hopia or they sell tires, and then the office of the travel agency is inside the yung sa loob-looban pa. So kunyari ikaw customer ka and then you walk into something like that, parang 'di ba hindi ka rin ba magtataka, ano ba 'tong pinapasok ko? Travel agency ba 'to o nagbebenta ng gulong? There is a reason why certain certain requirements are prescribed, and I think some of this are already are self-evident. I mean, di ba, as travel agents or tour operators, you also want to show that you are a respectable company. Uh, so kahit na maliit na opisina, basta maayos lang, that sort of shows na okay ka. With regard to if you want to permanently work from home, that is something that needs to be discussed also. Like, kasi if I may talk about PTAA, bawal sa PTAA yung work from home na offices eh. And then that is for a reason, di ba? So, I don't know, maybe as an evolution or because of an offshoot of the pandemic wherein we find alternate work arrangements, maybe that is something that we can actually to consider also.
Okay. I think Clarissa has a related question to that.
Yes.
Sir, what if naman si travel agency made some improvements on their office
Yeah.
as required by the new normal? Kasama ba ito sa tax relief? Kasi sa ibang sector, when the transport would improve would upgrade, kasama sila sa tax relief. Pero si travel agency ba, kasama din? They can also avail?
I'm writing it down. Um, sa totoo lang, we haven't really discussed it. As far as improvements are concerned, di ba ang nilabas lang was that BOI is allowing the importation. But if you're talking of offices lang na nag-set
Ah,
up, no? Because to
BO.
improve, to address the concerns of COVID, hindi pa na pag-uusapan yan. Again, this is something that we can discuss with the DOT. Um, kasi some improvements may not be as big naman but then there are also
Mm-mm.
big offices na kailangang malaki din yung outlay mo, no? So
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's definitely something that we can talk to DOT about. I wrote it down so that I can remember to discuss it.
Ako rin meron akong medyo related doon. Not
Yes.
improvements sa physical space. Again, we
Yes.
have been hearing the DOT somehow uh, endorsing, supporting, or because of the evolution nga of our business, mga OTAs, no? So, we have seen, well, di na ako magbabanggit ng mga brands. Pero yun, yung mga medyo mga automatic ang booking ng mga kliyente natin. Say for example, a travel agency transforms herself or himself to an OTA somehow by just making sure that it will be contactless, but it
Mm-hmm.
incurred expenses. Will that be
Mm-hmm.
something that we can also get a loan for so that we can make those improvements?
Um, Alam mo, yes, I think in the provision of in the Arise bill, there will be a certain amount that will be allocated for um, companies who will go into digital platforms. Uh,
Digital transformation.
Yes, I just have to recheck the provision, but I specifically remember reading that na there will be some financial assistance for those companies, yeah, that plan to adapt to the new normal in terms of digitalizing. So I'm almost sure that it's there.
Just a
Uh,
note lang po, siguro that when we actually get to that point where we are already allowing it, siguro dapat lang malinaw because actually there
yeah,
are a lot of our processes that are already somehow contactless, 'di ba?
yes,
But
yes,
what level of improvement should it be na talaga bang dapat na nabubook doon, wala na talagang
Automate.
kung pwede bang ang i-improve ko lang is yung payment gateway ko. Kasama na ba 'yon? Yung mga tipong ganon.
yes,
So yun lang
yes.
po.
Okay.
Note
Yeah.
lang.
Imelda, we would appreciate receiving more of your ideas on that para lang makonsider namin lahat yun if it's passed, then of course we have to start working on the IRR and the guidelines. So we would need to have that kind of information para lang makonsider natin lahat ng possibilities.
Sige, sir. We will prepare that.
Yeah.
Ako
Okay.
may
Meron
may
pa si,
papasok
marami
ko.
pa yan.
Marami pa.
Yeah, ano
In
pa?
relation sa yung discussion about OTA,
Yes.
how can we have a fair playing field in terms of okay, lahat tayo would be going online na. Everyone's going online. Even our suppliers are going online. Speaking of hotels, they usually maririnig natin yan. Book online directly to the airlines or to the website of the airlines.
Mm.
How can we have like a balance or fair na playing field para sa mga travel agencies na ngayon pa lang papasok sa digital or yung mag-automate or will have their own booking processes. For example, kasi I'll mention one name, one brand na talagang lumabas lately is Guide to the Philippines. It is endorsed as the official partner of DOT. How can we have a fair playing field with them if kung ang DOT mismo ina-endorse na ang Guide to the Philippines?
Okay. Good question, no. With regard to Guide to the Philippines, they are what is called aggregators, no. Um, and I managed to discuss with them also one time. Actually, yung products nila kukunin din nila sa atin sa mga tour operators. And that's the way I understood it when we had that discussion. No? It was just so happened we had a meeting about something else, but um, my understanding of the concept was that their products will come from the tour operators and the suppliers also. Hindi sila yung mismong magsusolicit like diretso sa hotel, diretso. Uh, they are not an OTA in the strict sense of the word, but it's more of they will gather the products from the different tour operators.
So
Sir,
So in
Sir
the
Jojo,
yeah,
everyone would be welcome in Guide to the Philippines, as in
that's the way I
everyone would
understand it.
become.
That's the way I understood it. But we
I
can
think
clarify. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yes.
the problem in that picture is, say for example, another firm with the same model
Mm.
does the same, pero
Mm.
ang endorsed is one specific organization. So I think that's where the
Yeah.
problem will.
Because it's sort of DOT
Halimbawa,
endorsed.
sir, kayo
Recommend.
baka maging ano na rin kayo, automated na rin kayo, yung parang ganun, di ba? So,
Yeah.
then it puts the other players in a disadvantage if one company is endorsed by a department. Parang ganun, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Yeah. Point taken. Sige. We'll bring it up with them.
Thank you.
Okay, another burning issue is yung sa pag-opening ng back offices. Yan na. Ito yung medyo may init-init na
Huh?
discussion.
Ano daw? Ano daw?
Yung opening, sir, ng back offices natin,
I
yung
heard you.
consultation with
Nabingi
consult,
tuloy eh.
nabingin ni Sir Jojo about it.
Oh,
Pero sa totoo lang, di ba, parang nabigla tayo lahat. Even si
yes.
Sir Jojo, actually, nakita ko yung post niya doon. Uh,
Yes.
was TCP, was DOT consulted by the IATF before releasing that memo?
Okay, whether ganito ang nangyari dyan, no? And just to be clear about it, because to tell you the truth, that day was very bad for me and the TCP because we were unfairly maligned by so many people. No? Ang storya niyan is that uh, a broadcaster, hindi ko na sasabihin kung sino, a broadcaster mentioned in an early morning show on their show na meron daw mga travel agents or a big travel agent is asking, nagmamakaawa na mag-reopen na daw ang mga travel agencies to be able to process refunds and work on or do administrative work. Um, in fairness, I was consulted about it. And then I mentioned let me run and this is exactly how it happened. Let me run a survey through the members to see what is the sentiment. Kasi when we first asked the question nung May, because there were also a lot of companies or establishments that were asking to reopen then, it was really split down the middle, 50-50. So, sabi ko sa DOT, let me run a survey. But before the survey was run, I was already, and two other USECs of the DOT also got in touch with me to get the sentiment. Ang sabi ko lang, hati pa rin ang industriya dyan. But I want to run a survey to find out. But before I could run the survey, before the TCP could run the survey, I was already informed that it passed the IETF na. Okay? So, yun yung nangyari doon. Now, when the news came out, because it was also announced by Secretary Roque, no? Siyempre, kulang yata yung sinabi ni Secretary Roque and then it was not really clear as to what it entailed. We started to get a lot of comments. I started to get comments personally. I was being bashed. TCP was being bashed na bakit namin ni-recommend yon. We did not recommend that. In fact, I had to issue a statement. It's in the TCP Facebook page. We issued a recommendation position paper last May 11 that what we were asking for is that voluntary ang opening. Whoever wants to open, then they can open. Those who do not want to open, then let them remain closed. Ang tanong lang dyan is that for those who open, then mag-uumpisa na yung metro nila as far as paying the rentals, utilities, payrolls are concerned. At that time, may grace period pa rin tayong mga sarado, di ba? We didn't have to pay our utilities, our rents, we could not be evicted. So that was the decision that we took, was to recommend voluntary. Now, flash forward to what happened last Friday. that was just something that happened quickly. And again, I would reiterate, we had nothing to do with that. I did not recommend that. We did not recommend that. As a stakeholder, why would I want to do that? 'Di ba? Eto, okay lang ako ngayon kasi wala naman tayong pagkukuhanan ng negosyo eh. I mean, we've been talking about it. Why would I want to open my office just to process refunds? Sorry to say, for those of you, I will speak bluntly ha. Sinong tanga ang may gusto nun? uh, I understand the customers want to get the refunds. Pero the truth is, for a lot of us, we have not gotten the refund from our suppliers yet. I also have refunds that are pending with my suppliers. And I understand where our suppliers are coming from. Siyempre, all of us are in the same boat right now. So, di ba? For me, it was my personal take on it is it was not supposed to be worded that way. If it were me, it would just have worded na voluntary. Those who would want to open voluntarily can do so. Or administrative work, fine, that's understandable. But to say that to process refunds, that was something that I was really against. And there were people who were congratulating me about it. Kasi again, and this is one more aspect that I would want to clear up with everyone. No, I think people saw a letter of the DOT to me sorry, I keep saying me, informing the TCP of that reopening. And of course, the letter is addressed to the TCP, but sa akin nakapangalan because I'm the president of it. It does not necessarily mean that I agreed with it, nor did I recommend it. It's a matter of courtesy. There are people who mistook that and said and maliciously said na ako daw or Budget Tours, my company was the one who recommended for it. Again, bakit ako magpapakatanga na mag-recommend na mag-process ako ng refund? Diba? I am one of you. I am a stakeholder like every single one of you. I know what everyone is going through. Diba?
So Sir Jojo, do we expect ba na there will be a revision para mapasok yung mga voluntary?
I do not know. We've been, to tell you the truth, we've been discussing it, but since it's out of the bag, di ba? Nabasa na ng tao yan, nabasa na ng consumers yan. So akala ng consumers, meron tayong pera to refund them. Yun ang
Actually, Sir
masakit
Jojo,
dyan.
I read your memo explaining
Yeah.
the position of TCP about that. And of course, that's very comforting for mga katulad namin na teka, especially sabi mo nga, nagkaroon ng mga misinformation in the process. But what I was actually thinking when I read about that, magre-reply ba dito si DOT? I mean, did we receive, kasi the way you worded it, I don't know if it was you or PTAA, you have brought to light that agents were harassed and are being badgered by their clients. And this is because of a decision. So did they say send a word or something?
That was PTA. Si Richie was the one who sent that letter. No? So Richie did it. Okay. The May 11 letter, hindi na nasagot 'yon, which to me was fine kasi ano tayo eh. Okay lang 'yon. It was silent. So, 'di ba? Status quo tayo. Yung letter ni PTAA, I have not checked with Richie yet if they received the reply. But we can ask him if he has, no. Pero to me, there was no reply about that situation. So for now, it sticks that well, again, it's voluntary. Ako hindi pa ako nagbubukas.
Sir, hindi ko alam kung ano. I was just thinking, can we request them to explain where they got those? I don't know, the accountability of our leaders to us, having experienced na we were put in peril somehow. Emotionally, if we can request them to at least respond to that or to explain how they got to that decision.
Sige. I will send them a letter to that effect to request for a formal answer. I'll just write it down.
Meron ka pa bang pasabog dyan, Sir John?
Meron ba? yung latest.
Kaya paborito kang kausap ni Sir Jojo eh.
Ayoko na magsabi nung naganap before nung lumabas yung IATF kasi baka
Mm.
matag tayo ng misinterpretation. Pero
Mm.
may bago na naman lumabas na memo or announcement coming from uh, the IATF regarding sa lifting ng non-essential travel or mostly outbound ito. Hindi ako
Yes.
nagkakamali.
Yes.
Um, could you clarify, sir, kung ano yung exactly provision nito at saka yung mga dapat natin malaman regarding this new memo? Allowed ba tayo for travel as a tourist since we're using a tourist visa? Ano yung
Yep.
mga requirements na kaakibat nito? And for example, I heard the story about a coordination with a travel agency arranging a travel going to Japan. Syempre, we need to understand kung may protocol ba do sa destination
Yung
din,
okay. Sige.
'di ba? And then
Yeah.
binalik sa ang sinagot lang din ng Japan, ng supplier ng Japan or ng Japan embassy is you need to coordinate it with your DFA. So meaning to say sa kanila wala,
Yes.
pero sa atin meron. So ano yung
Yeah.
mga dapat natin malaman regarding this
O-
new memo?
Okay. I'll talk, baka mawala lang sa isip ko. With regard to those packages na yun sa Japan, hindi pa talaga pwede kasi di ba nga nakaban lahat ng visa natin? They were all revoked at the
I
start
think
of the
this client is a resident. Tama ba, Jan? Resident siya.
Parang ganon,
Permanent,
parang ganon yan.
permanent resident,
ng
kunyari.
Japan, ng
Yes.
Japan.
Yes.
But then he can go back to Japan anytime kung gusto niya,
Would they
'di
still
ba?
would they still need to comply with the requirement na bring not up kasi kunwari check in na tayo sa airport, check in syempre lahat ng requirements na sinabi na ni IATF, would they still
Yeah.
be required to
I
present
think
those requirements?
okay. Um, whatever is in place right now for Filipino ba yan or residente na? Is it Philippine resident?
Filipino.
Philippine passport, pero
Philippine
resident
pa.
Philippine passport. Okay. Um, okay. I do not want to answer kasi hindi ako masyadong familiar. Pero kasi whatever is the process right now of what's going on, I think kasi yung resolution na lumabas kahapon, yung sa 52, talks about the what is required for the non-essential travel. So meaning this is for the tourists that, di ba, yung mga gung-ho ng magbiyahe, uh, those requirements are specifically for them. But for people who are going to leave for, kung babalik na siya ng Japan because he's a resident there, then whatever is applicable for them prior to 52 will apply. Okay, does that make sense?
Oo. Pero actually, what I want to highlight is the reaction of Sir Jojo. Somehow may uncertainty, no?
Yeah.
Which is what's happening. Even in some cases where we would have clients approach us and we immediately refer them or their questions to our suppliers na overseas.
Yes.
Nandun tayo lahat sa posisyon na wala tayong
Yes.
hindi mo matayuan yung sagot mo, and our confidence level as TAs talagang bagsak, no, because of the
Okay.
Confusion.
there's no centralized
Ganito.
yeah.
Ganito. If I can boil we're still talking of resolution 52, no, yung
Yes.
kahapon.
Yes.
It just boils down to this, no. You are now allowed to travel. Okay, so in a sense, as a travel agent, you can already sell, subject to several things that were enumerated in that memo. Number one, ang nakikita kong problema dyan, which country can we travel to right now? Di ba? Kasi ang nakalagay doon is you can accept, ano ba to?
As long as you
Allowed
will be
entry,
accepted.
allowed entry by the destination country in accordance with their travel health and quarantine restrictions. So, makakapasok ka, but it also depends, no? Kung wala naman ng Pilipino sa blacklist nila or nasa no list nila, yeah, you can enter. But then, if they require a 14-day quarantine, you will have to undergo that. Diba? Or if they require a medical certificate when you arrive, then you will have to do that as well. So those are things that you have to consider. And then yesterday we also had a meeting with the DOT with PTAA, yung tungkol naman sa travel insurance.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, please.
yes.
Yes, yes.
So yesterday I had to leave the meeting a little bit earlier, but before I left, what was being discussed already was for the insurance companies to come out with proposed rates that will cover COVID also. Kasi yun naman ang pinaka-concern dyan, di ba? So, um, I think there will be another meeting wherein the insurance companies will present the rates and what will be the coverage, how much will it be, what will be the duration, and all of that. So um, it's something it's put in there actually for the well-being or and the ano na rin, assurance of the traveler na pag may nangyari sa iyo habang nasa labas ka, you will be able to avail of medical care or whatever emergency care that you would need.
Yes.
So I think we're in agreement naman that that is something necessary. No? Um, what other questions would you have about it, Baba? Uh,
Actually,
the round trip
Sir
ticket?
Joe,
Yeah.
ang naiisip namin kasi dito is some of the uh, stakeholders no are sensationalizing all this opening of international. Pero
Okay.
they have to understand also na sinabi doon is non-essential travelers. But it doesn't mean that hindi daw ito for tourism purposes because basically if you're going to
No.
look at it, the entire world itself is still the tourism is still not yet fully opened,
Mm, mm.
di ba? So
Eh,
mm, go ahead po.
ganito yan, Harold, no? I'm sure within your ranks, within the travel agency ranks, marami na tayong naririnig, di ba? Even when you go on social media, ang daming nagre-reklamo. Let us travel already. Let us let in people already. Ganyan, 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 ganyan.
Mm,
Di ba? I mean, there are also travel agencies na, yung talagang they're insisting to reopen already. Siyempre, ang tanong natin dyan is that, anong ibibenta ninyo? Saan nyo
yes.
papupuntahin yung mga turista ninyo? So, di ba? Maybe based on that clamor, pinayagan na. But it doesn't mean that, yeah, it is subject to certain conditions. So, kung if a traveler is willing to undergo all of that and to, um, and to get whatever is needed to be able to travel, then by all means, bentahan ninyo. So, uh,
Malaking challenge
y-
yung conditioning ng mindset ng ano ng
yeah,
human behavior ay ng human
exactly.
consumer, di ba?
And I'm giving you a glimpse of the things that we have had to handle as TCP na 'di ba ang hirap mong pumagitna sa mga stakeholders. Yung gusto ng ilan kontra doon sa gusto ng ilan. So, 'di ba? That is something that we constantly have to is to balance it. What we in relation to this, what we've asked the DOT now, and I mentioned it to Secretary Puyat was that maybe whatever team in the DOT can compile no what are the current situation right now in the other countries as far as entry, as far as what are they are requiring for entry into their countries,
Mhm, mhm.
what are the restrictions, and then we will share that definitely with
Yes.
our stakeholders para alam nila na yung mga nagsasabi na, yeah, pabiyahihin nyo na itong mga pasahero namin, ganyan, ganyan. Pag nilabas natin yan, let's say may requirement na 14-day quarantine. Oh, are you still as happy or as gung-ho to travel? Di
Mhm.
ba?
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe
Sir
the same
Jojo,
thing that we said earlier about the regions. Talagang
Mm.
again, kailangan talaga mayroong source of information ng ang mga tao because 'di
Yes.
ba ano we're all lost. We're all lost. This is
Yes.
all new. No one to
Yeah.
blame. It's just that
Yes.
there are offices that we hope we could who has access to all this information who can collate it for us. No?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yun. So, ma'am, meron lang
Ganun.
pong Harry, do you want to go first or can I read muna?
um, Miss Check, I have a last question na lang kay
Yes.
Sir
Okay.
Jojo, no? Sabi kasi dito sa na-receive ko is that what do we have to look forward till the end of this year as tourism MSMEs? Kasi before, ang sabi sa amin is that ang sabi ng DOT is domestic travel muna, pero ngayon we are opening international travel. Ang gulo.
Well, alam mo, what people have to keep in mind is that itong pandemic is an evolving situation. Things can
Yep.
change at a moment's notice. 'Di ba? Ngayon, yung for example, now you're saying that the virus can be airborne. We didn't know that last week.
Mhm.
There is this supposition now that baka airborne, baka ha, I'm not saying it is, baka airborne. That is something that we didn't know last week. The nature of the pandemic is such that things happen very quickly and unexpectedly. So, we have to condition our minds na kung ano yung applicable yesterday may not be applicable today. Okay? We have to be, ang state of mind natin ngayon is we have to be flexible. Sabi ko nga, as much as we try to be proactive in this situation, ang hirap-hirap. What we project for next week or for 2 weeks from now may be different from what the situation will be at the time when we get there. And yun yung kailangan ano yun din ang kailangan maisip ng mga stakeholders natin, no. Things change eh. We have to be ready. Um, 'Di ba? As much as we want stability, as much as we want to be able to say or project that this will happen in the next 2 weeks or so, hindi it doesn't work that way. Not at this time. So, yes, magulo minsan, but minsan it's not the fault of anyone. It's just that it's what the situation dictates.
Yep. Yep.
Yun yung kailangan nating isipin eh. Minsan kailangan nating maging mas mapasensya. I know it's hard. Even me, no? You talk about MSMEs. Our company, no? Well, alam nyo naman, Raja. But we are still considered a medium enterprise as far as the definition of a medium
Definition. Yep.
enterprise is concerned. So, sa totoo lang, and again, I keep on saying this, we are suffering as much as you guys are. Every day I think about it every night. Iniisip ko ano pa bang pwedeng gawin, ano bang communication, ano bang but it's hard eh. You can only plan maybe a few days ahead or 'di ba? And then you have to change it again. It's very very difficult times, very challenging. I wish I could see something more uplifting except na there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're slowly working on it with the development of the travel bubbles, the travel corridors. Slowly but surely, we're doing our best. It may not be enough right now, but it's not like wala kaming ginagawa. We're always looking for ways. I mean, the discussions really are far-ranging and nakakapiga ng utak sa totoo lang. And if it's only possible to involve everyone in that discussion, why not? Pero mahirap eh. I mean, just to be really honest with everyone.
Sabi ko nga kanina, you're the man of the hour. Talagang, Sir Jojo, you're in the middle of all of this, and
Yeah.
and people will be reaching out to you to voice their opinions and all that, and it's a
Yeah.
balancing act talaga that is beyond
Yeah.
beyond
Then,
understanding, no, especially, and that is the reason why we reached out to you also, because like for example for Rise Up, um over the past week ang daming mga reactions doon na kapag ka siguro mas malawak yung tingin mo, or at least that we hear from you, like we are hearing it from you right now, the understanding of the people who are watching would also expand, no, the yung mga blind sides would be taken
yes.
into consideration. And we hope with this session, we were able to somehow shed light and increase understanding, no, ng mga stakeholders natin who are in
Yeah.
Rise Up or even outside, no, and that's one of our goals for today talaga. Siguro, Sir Jojo, we have exhausted much of the issues already that we would like to bring up to you. Actually, sabi mo nga, this developing, we hope we can reach out to you again in other channels or through another like this if something ever happens again, no, that needs clarification. Do you have your last words for us, Sir Jojo?
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, to all our viewers, to our moderators today, and to the organizers, thank you very much, no, to Rise Up, for giving the opportunity for the TCP to explain some things. I hope I have been able to shed light on some matters. I know that some of my answers will never be to the satisfaction of some of our viewers, but nevertheless, I will not stop in explaining some of the things. And I urge everyone at this time now. I know it's very difficult, but again, just to be a bit more patient. Let's find ways to survive. Um, and I would like to assure you that the TCP is doing its best. We're doing what we can, along with the other associations now. Filtoa, PTA, all of them. We're doing what we can to ensure that the stakeholders get through all of this. But it may not be as quick as we want. It may not be as fast as we want. Pero as I mentioned, it's a very um, confusing time. It's a very tumultuous time, and it really needs a lot of flexibility, a lot of patience, a lot of understanding from all of us to weather this storm. So um, I just want to assure everyone that we are open to any of your comments, to your suggestions, and we welcome them. And please keep in touch with us, stay in touch with us. We have many channels of communication where you can give us your sentiments and your um, feelings, no? And we will do our best to get back to you. So with that, I am one with everyone that we are working towards a better tomorrow, and I wish everyone well, good health, and keep safe during this time. So thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you very much, Sir Jojo. Sir Jojo, actually, siguro one of the best ways to get in touch with you and have real access to you is to be members of uh, TPC, no? If ever you would like to be members,
TCP.
are we, of course, there's application. Is there a fee right now at this time?
Ngayon, very very minimal lang yung charge namin para lang ano yung just for our operations. I think we agreed on like 1.5 lang for the rest of the year, and then they're
Here.
looking at year. So, if anyone wants to be a member, please get in touch to our TCP Facebook page. May yung mag-message kayo sa amin, then we'll send you the or to me or to Sir Orly. You can send to us your details, and we can send you the application forms. Um, Ayoko nang mag-plug kanina eh. So anyway, thank you for plugging. What we're doing naman right now is, whether you're a TCP member or not, we continue to work for everyone. It's just ano lang, for everyone naman talaga to eh.
Actually, sa totoo lang, just to close this, no, we already know, to Jojo, that you have been listening to us already before this, and I hope that after this, even more, no. So, mas nabuksan yung channel natin to communicate with each other, and Rise Up naman community will always be, Ma'am Clarissa, John, and Harry will always be in support
Yeah.
of whatever TCP would be coming up with, and we will also be on the lookout, no? So both sides, no? Support
Yeah.
and look out to dun sa mga stakeholders din na baka, of course, we don't see all sides all the time. So we'll
Yeah.
help you with that also. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate your sentiments for the industry. And
Yeah.
together with my other Rise Up administrators, again, Ma'am Clarissa, John, and Harry, we thank you. And we thank everyone who spent their 1.5 hours with us today.
Thank you to Sir
Please continue
Orly.
engaging. And Sir
Thank
Orly,
you.
of course, who lent us
Orly.
lumalabas-labas na yung mga mukha natin ganyan. Okay, thank you very much for X-Link events. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, please stay engaged within the page. We will, narinig nyo naman si Sir Jojo kanina, he will be liaising for us. He will be, he took down notes. So we are waiting
Mhm.
for some outputs from there also, and we will be posting all of that in the Rise Up page. So keep being there, and we will continue to bring out and reach out to people who can give us answers along the way. With that, I'd like to wish everyone well, good afternoon, and thank you again for your time. Mabuhay
Thank
kayo.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Paano ba yun?
Yan.